In boxing, the underdog isn't just a long shot. They're the heartbeat of the sport. Time and again, fighters dismissed as too old, too slow, or too soft have risen to deliver the unthinkable. From Buster Douglas's seismic knockout of Mike Tyson to Andy Ruiz Jr.'s stunning dismantling of Anthony Joshua, these moments aren't just upsets, they're seismic shifts that redefine careers and captivate the world. Let's dive into the most jaw-dropping upsets in boxing history, where belief, grit, and a perfectly timed punch turned the impossible into unforgettable legend. Buster Douglas versus Mike Tyson, 1990. The earthquake in Tokyo. It was supposed to be a routine execution. Mike Tyson, the undisputed heavyweight wrecking machine, entered the ring in Tokyo as a 42-1 favorite against a soft-spoken, grief-stricken James Buster Douglas. Tyson, then unbeaten and feared worldwide, had steamrolled every opponent, many in under a round. But what the odds makers didn't see was the fire inside Douglas, who had just lost his mother weeks earlier and promised her he would shock the world. From the opening bell, Douglas used his long jab and fluid movement to pick Tyson apart. He was boxing with purpose, exposing Iron Mike's lack of preparation. In the 10th round, Douglas unleashed a vicious uppercut, followed by a 4-punch combo that sent Tyson crashing to the canvas, desperately searching for his mouthpiece. The referee reached 10, and history was made. Buster Douglas didn't just beat Tyson, he shattered the myth of invincibility in one of the greatest upsets in boxing history. Andy Ruiz Jr. versus Anthony Joshua, 2019, the Chubby Assassin. When Andy Ruiz Jr. stepped in as a late replacement to face unified heavyweight champion Anthony Joshua, most fans saw it as a stay-busy fight for the British superstar. Ruiz, with his soft frame and underdog status, was mocked relentlessly. He didn't look the part. But looks didn't matter once the bell rang at Madison Square Garden. In round 3, Joshua landed a clean knockdown, and it seemed like the mismatch was playing out as expected. But then came the twist. Ruiz got up, gritted his teeth, and uncorked a counter left hook that shook Joshua to his core, dropping him hard. What followed was a firefight, with Ruiz dropping Joshua 4 times in total before stopping him in the 7th round. The crowd was stunned. Ruiz had just become the first Mexican-American heavyweight champion, rewriting the script and proving that quick hands, grit, and heart can flip the heavyweight hierarchy in an instant. Hasim Rahman versus Lennox Lewis, 2001, the right hand heard in South Africa. Lennox Lewis was riding high, a dominant heavyweight champ with elite boxing skills and one of the most imposing physiques in the sport. Hasim Rahman, on the other hand, was barely a blip on the radar, given little more than a puncher's chance. To make matters worse, Lewis was distracted during training camp, choosing to film Ocean's 11 in Las Vegas rather than properly prepare at altitude in South Africa, where the fight would be held. Rahman, training hard in those thin conditions, showed up lean and focused. For 4 rounds, the fight simmered, with Lewis trying to control distance. But in round 5, Rahman exploded with a thunderous overhand right. A missile straight to Lewis's jaw that sent the champ spiraling to the canvas, unable to beat the count. In one punch, the underdog flipped the heavyweight division upside down. It was raw, shocking, and brutally clean, an all-time upset carved into boxing history. James Braddock versus Max Baer, 1935, the Depression's champion. James Braddock's story reads like a Hollywood script, and eventually became one. A washed-up journeyman on public relief, Braddock was barely surviving the Great Depression, taking any labor job he could to feed his family. Max Baer, meanwhile, was everything Braddock wasn't: rich, famous, devastatingly powerful, and feared. He had even killed a man in the ring. No one gave Braddock a chance. But on June 13, 1935, under the bright lights of Madison Square Garden Bowl, Braddock put on a masterclass of grit and determination. Round after round, he outworked Baer, absorbing punishment and returning fire with stiff jabs and overhand rights. He didn't knock Baer down, but he won over the judges, the crowd, and the entire country, claiming a unanimous decision and the heavyweight championship. Braddock's win wasn't just an upset. It was a beacon of hope for millions struggling to survive, earning him the nickname the Cinderella Man. Lloyd Honeyghan versus Donald Curry, 1986. The Brit who crashed the pound-for-pound list. Heading into their welterweight title clash, Donald Curry wasn't just unbeaten. He was considered one of the best fighters on the planet, with silky skills, crushing power, and whispers of being the next Sugar Ray Leonard. Lloyd Honeyghan, meanwhile, was dismissed by most American pundits as a tough but limited Brit with an awkward style. But from the opening bell in Atlantic City, Honeyghan fought like a man possessed. He swarmed Curry, smothered his rhythm, and landed crisp, damaging shots with both hands, rocking the champion repeatedly. Curry's corner was stunned, and so was the boxing world, as Honeyghan battered the pound-for-pound star so badly that Curry quit on his stool after the 6th round. It wasn't just a win, it was a beatdown. Honeyghan's upset shattered expectations and helped resurrect British boxing's credibility on the world stage. Spinks versus Muhammad Ali, 1978. The rookie who stole the crown. When 24-year-old Spinks signed to fight Muhammad Ali in just his 8th professional bout, most thought it was a glorified sparring session. Spinks had won Olympic gold in 1976, but was still raw and inexperienced. Ali, though aging, was the reigning WBA heavyweight champion and expected to cruise. But Spinks had no respect for the script. From the start, he applied relentless pressure, pushing the pace with his trademark awkwardness, a southpaw jab, and an unshakable engine. Ali, undertrained and sluggish, couldn't keep up. Over 15 grueling rounds, Spinks out-hustled, outlanded, and outlasted the legend, earning a split decision and pulling off one of the most unexpected title wins in boxing history. It was Ali's last career loss, and Spinks, the unlikeliest of champions, had done the impossible before the world even learned how to pronounce his name. Schmeling versus Joe Louis, 1936. The counter that shook a nation. By 1936, Joe Louis was a wrecking ball wrapped in silk, young, powerful, and undefeated, knocking out former champions like they were cardboard cutouts. America was already preparing his coronation as the next heavyweight king. Enter Schmeling, the German ex-champion no one believed in, dismissed as yesterday's news. But Schmeling had a secret weapon: film study. He obsessively analyzed tapes and found a flaw. Louis dropped his left hand after jabbing. Schmeling timed that flaw like a surgeon. On June 19th in Yankee Stadium, he punished Louis over 12 brutal rounds with laser-precise counter right hands, dropping him repeatedly before knocking him out cold in the 12th. The result shocked not just the boxing world, but the geopolitical one too, as Hitler's propaganda machine claimed the win as proof of Aryan superiority. But Schmeling himself rejected Nazi ideology, making this one of boxing's most complicated and dramatic upsets, where a tactical masterclass toppled the unstoppable. Sugar Ray Leonard versus Marvin Hagler, 1987. The return of the king. Marvin Hagler was the middleweight monster of the 1980s, a southpaw wrecking crew who hadn't lost in over 11 years. So when Sugar Ray Leonard, who'd fought just once in 5 years and never at middleweight, announced a comeback to face Hagler, fans and experts alike scoffed. Leonard was too small, too rusty, and too late, but from round one, Ray flipped the script. Using dazzling footwork, he circled, flurried, and stole rounds with flashy combinations and just enough pop to keep Hagler guessing. Hagler, who started slow and chose to fight orthodox for the first half, never found a rhythm. After 12 electric rounds, the judges awarded Leonard a razor-thin split decision, sparking one of the most controversial debates in boxing history. Some saw it as a robbery, others as a brilliant tactical masterpiece. But no one denies it was one of the sport's most improbable and legendary comebacks. Evander Holyfield versus Mike Tyson, 1996. The real deal Rex the Monster. By 1996, Mike Tyson had reclaimed his aura of terror, destroying opponents in a few rounds, fresh out of prison and refueled with vengeance. When Evander Holyfield signed to fight him, most thought it was a cash-out. Holyfield had heart, sure, but he was older, worn down, and declared medically retired just a few years earlier. Yet on fight night, the real deal looked reborn. He wasn't afraid, he came to win. From the first bell, Holyfield outboxed, outmuscled, and bullied Tyson in the clinch, walking him down and stunning him repeatedly with clean right hands and sneaky uppercuts. By the 11th round, Tyson was out of ideas and out of gas. Holyfield poured it on until the referee had seen enough. The TKO wasn't just a win, it was a myth-shattering moment. Holyfield hadn't just beaten Tyson, he beat the fear, proving once again that will, skill, and belief can break through even the darkest of legends. These upsets remind us that in boxing, as in life, nothing is guaranteed. The sport's greatest moments often come when the script is torn up and rewritten by those no one saw coming. Whether it's a journeyman outworking a champion or a late replacement seizing his moment, these stories resonate because they embody the essence of competition, the relentless pursuit of victory against all odds. As we reflect on these seismic shifts in boxing history, we're reminded that the next great upset is always just one punch away.